So, this section is on geometric sequences. Who can remind me, what's an arithmetic sequence? Think back to the very first section. Silence. Don't know. Hey, what did we work with in the first section? Lists of numbers, right? And how did you get from one number to the next?
Counting.
Okay. Like, remember there was the common difference, D? So that was the number that was being added from one to the next. Yeah. So to get from one term to the next, you had to add a number, right? D, the common difference. He's got it. Yes. Geometric sequences, instead of adding a number, we're going to multiply by a number to get from one to the next. So maybe we're going to multiply by 2, by 2, by 2, by 2 to get.
Oh, these numbers are going to get big, aren't they?
They do get very big. Okay, so geometric sequence, here we go, is a sequence in which each term
the studio, the math studio.
after the first is found by, oops, that's supposed to be a B. Shouldn't have even told you that I'm recording. So, a sequence in which each term after the first is found by multiplying the previous term by a constant R. So remember, with arithmetic sequences, we called it D. For geometric sequences, we're going to call it R. It's common ratio.
Wait, what? Oh, wait, never mind. I read it from like each term after a constant R.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole other line. So the common ratio is R. And we'll talk about how to find that in a second. So my new thing, guys, if you can't stay awake during class, you're losing your chair. So
Yeah.
Oh,
That could be funny.
She
She made me stand up for the rest of the hour.
I
I
did.
didn't do it.
Man, you got that from Hyper Ninja.
No, I actually didn't.
Because I remember that to be my freshman year. And all jokes were on him when I laid down in the back of his class and went to sleep.
I can fall asleep standing up easy, so.
Okay, here is how you find R. So, if I've got a random term, remember A sub n, just like with arithmetic sequences, the nth term is A sub n, just like with arithmetic. So if I take one term and divide it by the previous term, then I'm going to get whatever my common ratio is. So, for example, let's say I had A sub 20. Okay, like a 20th term. What would I call the previous term? The previous term, the one right before it, is going to be A sub, what did you say, Taylor? Yeah, 19, good. So 20 minus 1, which is A sub 19. So like if I took A sub 20, divided it by A sub 19, I would get whatever the common ratio is. So any two in a row, you can divide to get the common ratio.
So how you solve is find the ratio?
Sometimes we'll have to find the ratio, yeah. This is the formula that we're going to be using a whole bunch today. So this is to find the nth term, so some random term in the sequence. You take the first term, A sub 1, multiply it by whatever the common ratio is, raise it to the n minus 1 power. This is why I'm letting you use a note card on the quiz, because I know there's a lot of formulas. And there's going to be more in the next one, so. Okay.
So only got 2 more chapters.
It's this section and then one more. And then that's it.
And then we just spend time.
Well, no. Oh, chapters. Chapters. Yeah, there was another chapter after this. Yeah.
What about for seniors?
Seniors, you're going to start doing chapter 12, but you might not get through it.
So that's going to be taken off like.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, let's look at this one. It says, find the 5th term of a geometric sequence such that A sub 1 is 14 and R is 6. So this one's pretty simple. It's very much just using the formula. So I'm looking for the 5th term, so I'll write A sub 5. And then it's, I'll just write the formula out for the heck of it. So to find the fifth term, I take a sub 1, which I'm given, 14, times whatever the common ratio is, which is 6, to the, what's n? 5. Yep, it's whatever term you're working with. So it's 5 minus 1. From there, it's just calculator. 14 times 6 to the 4th. And like Sydney predicted, these are going to get pretty big. So don't be alarmed when you get numbers in the thousands. Because like 6 to the 4th, yeah, that's 1,296. Then you got to multiply by 14. Because these are exponential, right? They're growing exponentially because you keep multiplying by something. So it's getting higher and higher, faster and faster. Yep, that's the fifth term. Done.
Will it always tell us the fifth term?
So sometimes, like for example, 2. This should say third, by the way. I know there's always a typo. Always, but it's not a big deal. That's actually not even part of the directions. It says find the 7th term of a geometric sequence for which a sub 3 is 96 and r is 2. So you might find a shorter way to do this, but I'm going to show you the way using the formula here because I want you to know that way too. Because, like I said, we might get really high numbers eventually. Need to know how to do this. So I'm given a random term. I'm still going to use this formula, but what's the problem?
Yes, a sub 3.
So you just said
Correct. I don't know a sub 1. I only know a sub 3. So I need to, it's going to be like a 2-step thing. I need to find a sub 1 using what I know, then use the formula again using that information to find the 7th term. Okay, so here's the lovely formula. And I know a sub 3, so I'm going to use that to figure out a sub 1. Since I also know r. And n in this case would be what? 3. Yep. Okay, so now I've got a, oh, I meant to write that as 96, not a. Pencil. So a sub 3 they gave me, that's 96. And then this is going to be 2 squared, which is 4. So all I got to do, divide by 4. And I've got a sub 1. 24. Okay, now it's kind of just like the previous problem. Because I know a sub 1. So, because look, they're asking for the 7th term. 7th. This is the first. So to find the 7, do exactly what we did here. So you're going to take a sub 1, 24, times the rate, or the, sorry, not the rate, the common ratio, which is 2. Raise it to the n minus 1. What's n here? 7 minus 1. Good. And then, I don't know. Why not? I don't really know why I put parentheses. You don't have to put them. It's parentheses or the dot. You don't have to put both. So 24 times 2 to the 6th. Plug it in the calculator. You've got 1,536 for a sub 7. So that's your 7th term. How do we feel about that so far? Oh, we're cruising, man. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Alrighty, flip it over. Make sure you ask them because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Got a school improvement meeting. So, yeah, it's going to be a work day. And this will be on Google Classroom, so you can rewatch it if you want to. If one isn't enough. Yeah. Okay. Who remembers what arithmetic means were?
They're in between the two numbers. I can't.
Yep. Got it. So you're given 2 random terms. and then you figure out the terms in between. So.
Geometrically,
Yeah, so we're going to need to find the ratio. So geometric means the missing terms between two non-successive, remember that means not in a row, terms of a geometric sequence. So, example 3. I need to find 3 geometric means between 3.12 and 49.92. So I know this is my starting point, and I know there's 3 terms in between that and 49.92. I got to figure out what they are. So I've got my starting point and my ending point. What's going to help me find these 3 in between?
Ratio.
Yeah, the common ratio, right? Because I don't know what to multiply this by to get to the next term. So if I called this a sub 1, just so we can refer to these as something, this would then be, I'm looking for a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, and I know a sub 5. So take a few seconds and think about this. How do you think you could figure this out?
That's not over here. Figure this out. Couldn't you just subtract them again?
Subtracting them and figuring out, how many terms, and that'll work for arithmetic, and not for this since we're multiplying by something. I need
Plug the A1.
figure out what to divide by.
Plug
Guessing and checking might work, but what if it's something like, with a decimal? That's not guessable.
Plug
Ooh,
the
that
A1
kinda
in
rhymed.
the equation to plug the AN into the equation and have the R and then
Wait, say that again, Michael?
plug in the first number, then the second number, then figure out what N is, plug that in, and then just have the minus 1, and then just.
I think you might be on the right track. I'm not exactly sure what you're saying, but
Yeah.
to look for what? R, right? Yeah. Someone had a good question earlier. They said, why can't I use this formula to find R?
Why not?
Why can't I?
You can.
Well, this is just a random term, but this has got to be what? Specific, like, these
That
two
has to be
terms
the
have to
final-
be,
That has to be the final term, and that can be any term.
these are for any terms. But they have to be right next to each other. Like, if this were the 20th term, I'd have to have the one right before it. Do I have any successive terms here, one after another? No. So that's why I can't use it, because I don't know 2 terms next to each other. So, maybe, yeah. Possibly. So let's use this formula instead. Told you we'd be using it a lot. All right, and I know a sub 5, so I'm going to use that. I also know a sub 1. I don't know R. I'm kind of half substituting here. I guess I could have done it all at once, but yeah. Okay, so a sub 5 is 49.92. A sub 1 is the first term, which is 3.12. R is what I don't know, so I'm going to leave it as R, to the 4th. What should I do next?
You subtract.
It's not that bad, don't worry.
Divide 3.12, then you square root it by 4.
Close.
Fourth rooted.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm going to divide both sides by 3.12. And it actually turns out to a really nice number. It's 16. Yeah. Don't you love when that happens?
And then it's 4. 2.
There you go, yeah. I got to take the 4th root of both sides. The 4th root of 16 is 2. Plus or minus 2, actually. But we're just going to do the positive answers. So, plus or minus 2. Now, what do I do once I have R? Because I'm looking for these 3 terms.
Just do every normal problem the way you normally do it. Just add
Am I adding though? Multiply. If it were arithmetic, I would add,
I
right?
mean adding as the problem. I meant adding that for the two and
What is that little thing?
Adding it to the
A sub what?
Oh, add it to the, yeah. Okay, so all you got to do is start with your 3.12, multiply it by your common ratio, and you've got the next one, which is 6.24.
And how could you do that?
How?
Yeah, like, what'd you do to figure that out?
So start with, you've got your first term, and then I figured out the common ratio, which is what I have to multiply by to get to the next term. Okay? And then for a sub 3, I'm going to take the previous term, 6.24, multiply it by the common ratio again, 2, to get 12.48. And then lastly, multiply by 2 again. Mental math. 0.96. Yep. Okay. There are my 3 answers. Okay. So that's all I've got for you today. Geometric sequences.